So once we've created our initial stock watch list, what we want to do next is to categorize that list. We want to create segments, 3 different segments. Segment 1 will be stocks that are in a current uptrend. Segment 2 will be stocks that are in a current downtrend, and segment 3 will be stocks that are currently trading sideways. So there's a real quick trick we can use to determine the trend. I mean, a lot of times you can just look at the stock chart and it'll be very obvious whether it's moving up, down, or sideways. But sometimes it's a little bit harder to actually determine exactly if it's going up, down, or sideways. So a quick trick that I like to use is to just simply go over to tradingview.com, which is a free stock charting platform that anyone can use. Just go to tradingview.com and you'll see it. And once you get to TradingView, the home screen, just go ahead and click here on this chart link, and that'll take you to the main chart page. Now, real quick, a couple of things I always like to do when I get to this page is I like to first remove this volume panel down here. I don't want to see the volume, so to remove it, I just come up here and I'll click the X to lose that. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the chart is set for a 1-year chart. So I come down here to the bottom and I click on this 1Y, which is 1 year, just to confirm that this is a 1-year time frame, 1-year chart. And then I want to make sure that each one of these bars represents 1 day throughout that year. And to do that, I just look up here and just confirm that that says 1D, which is 1 day. So the trick I like to use to determine if we're in a current uptrend, downtrend, or a side trend is I come up to the indicators tab and I'll click on indicators, and in this window here I'll type in moving average, and that will bring up this list of different moving averages we can apply to the chart. And I want to use the moving average exponential, this one right here. So I'll just click that once. And when I click that, it added the 9-day exponential moving average. By default, it used the 9-day. You can see it right here, EMA, which stands for exponential moving average. And 9, the default just goes to a 9-day time frame. And you can see it here on the chart as well, this little blue line. And I want to change that 9-day time frame to a 365-day time frame, basically a 1-year time frame. And so to do that, I just come up here, I hover my mouse over this EMA 9, and you can see this little settings icon. I'll click on that, which will bring up this window, and you can see that the length says 9. So I'm going to change that to 365, which is 365 days, 1-year time frame. Then I'll click on OK, and you can see how it added it right down here. The blue line is moved from where it was down to the longer time frame, which is right here. And so basically how I use this 365-day EMA line is just it gives me a really quick reference as to whether the stock is in a current 1-year uptrend, downtrend, or a sideways trend. So obviously we can see now that the blue line is rising from left to right. So that confirms that this chart is in a current 1-year uptrend. So just for reference, let's look at a couple other examples. So I'm going to change the ticker symbol right up here. I'll just click, and let's take a look at Microsoft, which is MSFT. I'll click return. And so here's the 1-year chart of Microsoft. And again, you can see the blue line rising from left to right, rising upwards, which confirms that this stock is in a current 1-year uptrend. Let's look at a couple more examples, see if we can find a sideways trend or a downtrend. Let's take a look at AT&T. So I'll click T. All right, so this is the 1-year chart of AT&T. And on this chart, you can see how the blue line, the 365-day EMA line, exponential moving average line, is falling from left to right. The left side of the screen, it's higher, and we can follow it down. It's dropping over the 1-year time frame. So this confirms that this stock, AT&T, is in a current 1-year downtrend. All right, now let's look at another one. Let's look at VZ, Verizon. So we'll type in VZ. And here you can see the 1-year chart for Verizon, and you can see that it's pretty choppy. At the beginning of the year, it was kind of moving up a bit, then it started going down. It looks kind of sideways in this area here. So what this chart is showing me is that this stock is in a current sideways trend. Let's look at another one. This is Boeing, BA, and you can see from the 365 exponential moving average that where we're currently trading now, this chart would be considered in a sideways trend. Let's look at another. Let's say LMT, Lockheed Martin. And again, you can see that this chart, the 365-day EMA line, is for the most part throughout the year trading sideways. So this chart would be considered a sideways trend. So those are examples of each of the 3 stock chart trends we're looking at. And again, we want to take our initial list that we already created, our watch list, and now we want to split that list up into 3 different segments. We want to take all the stocks that are in a current uptrend, put that in one list. We want to take all the stocks on that list that are in a current downtrend, make a second list for those. And then the third list will be all the stocks that are in a sideways trend. So at the end of this lesson, we should have a total of 3 different lists now: uptrends, downtrends, and sideways trends. And then we'll move on to the next lesson. For the next lesson, we'll focus mostly on just the stocks that are in an uptrend, but don't delete the stocks that are in a sideways trend or a downtrend, because there's a specific strategy we can use for the stocks that are in the sideways trend, as well as another specific strategy we can use for the stocks that are in a downtrend. So we want to keep those 2 other lists, the sideways list and the downtrend list. We don't want to delete those. We want to keep those ready, just separate it away from the stocks that are in an uptrend, because there's a way that we can trade each of these different trends, even though the first strategy we'll be focusing on is the stocks that are in an uptrend.